Shivoham, welcome back to Life of Chicky. We are on the game board of Yudi's diary. In the previous video, we saw Yudi and his friends are on a grand study tour. They are spending the night in a beautiful ashram. But then, most of his friends are uncomfortable. They are not used to sleeping on mats and they are not used to simple living. Yudi sleeps that night with a prayer in his heart, and it has been a long night. Next day, Yudi was awakened by all the noises surrounding him. All his classmates were running around to get dressed for the day. There were only 3 bathrooms and there were 20 boys. Their teacher was rushing them to get ready fast. None of them were used to waiting their turns to take bath at their homes. They were knocking the doors, asking their friends to come out quickly, and it was a big chaos. Here, everything was different. Their teacher was managing everyone really well. Yudi woke up fresh, made his bed, and waited for his turn to take bath. They had to take hot water from the geyser and then carry the bucket all the way to the bathroom, take bath, and return the bucket back. This was unusual for everybody. Cut to the bus. They all go to the bus. After getting ready, Yudi and his entire class are all inside the bus now. Their teacher has told them that they will be arriving at their next destination in an hour's time. And guess what Yudi hears? All the kids are speaking in the bus loudly with excitement and with big eyes. Everyone is talking about what a wonderful time they had last night and this morning. This was something new for most of his classmates. But today, everyone seemed to have enjoyed the experience, unlike last night. Yudi is smiling to himself. He remembers that he had planned to read a book on his way. He opens his book and reads, Robinson Crusoe's ship had been destroyed by the sea. He had been alone for many years and longed for company. One day, he discovers a footprint on the sand. Let's find out what he did then. Continued Yudi. One day, when I was going towards my boat, I was surprised to see the footprint of a man on the sand. I stood amazed. I listened. I looked around me. I could neither hear nor see anything. I went up higher to look down. I went up the shore and down the shore, but it was no good. I could find no other footprint but that one. I went to it again to see if there were any more footprints and to tell if it had been my imagination. But I was not mistaken, for there was exactly the footprint. Toes, heel, every part of a foot. I could not imagine how it came there. I stayed a long time thinking, but became more and more confused. At last, I returned home very frightened, looking behind me after every 2 or 3 steps, mistaking every bush and tree to be a man. When I came to my cave, which I called my castle, I ran inside it as if I was being chased. I do not remember whether I used the ladder or went in by the hole in the cave, in the rock which I called the door. I ran for cover, faster than any animal could run. Yudi was disturbed by the sounds coming from outside. There were hawkers who were selling cucumbers and some sweets, guavas, for all the children to eat. He was not interested. He wanted to find out what happens to Robin Crusoe. He continued to read. I did not sleep that night. The more I thought about what I had seen, the more afraid I became. I thought it could be one of the savages of the mainland who had wandered out to the sea in a small boat. Luckily, I was not on shore at that time. But what if he had seen my boat? If he had seen the boat, he would have realized that someone lived on the island and would soon return with others to kill and eat me. And so, I lay fearful for many days and prayed for protection. In doing so, I was much comforted and began going out to investigate. But even now, as I went forward, I looked behind me frequently because I was still very frightened. However, as I went about for 2 or 3 days and saw nothing, I became a little bolder. I decided to go down to the shore again and examine the footprint once more. I decided to measure it with my own footmark. As I came closer to the footprint, I realized that it could not be my footprint because I had not come to this part of the beach since a long time. Secondly, as I placed my foot alongside that footprint, it seemed larger than my own. My fear returned. I went home again, believing that there was someone there. The island was inhabited. As Yudi'd read this part of the book, they reached their first stop. He had to stop the book midway, which irritated him a little. Yudi'd looks up and he happens to see the driver's nameplate. It read Lord Krishna. He is reminded of the shadow and his prayer last night. It's time to adapt to the situation. What happens ahead? How was Yudi'd's study tour? Did Robinson Crusoe discover whose footprint was it? We will come back and see what happens next. If you want to join us on this journey of life of Chicky, then please subscribe to this channel. Share it with everyone who loves to learn like the Pandavas. Visit our website arisegurukulam.com to join Arise India now.